start a social media campaign, signatures from everybody, so that we can come to a place where we can all agree on things, like what we want to do in our future. We do have like a bare outline of what we want, but we also have on our website, we have place where we can put suggestions of what changes people want to put into those demands, so that we can make those changes and then we can submit it to the government after we have a backing of, say, like 100,000 signatures or something. So we're trying to push.
Sure. Sahat, a final question to you. Why are there various groups now among the Gen Z protesters? Because when it started, it seemed to be this one large voice of young people in Nepal. Was there no unity to begin with? I mean, because you pushed out a government, you've thrown out a prime minister, they've all had to escape, this, that and the other. How did this unity disappear?
I think there was always a unity from the start of the protest, but there were political parties with their own agendas, what I mean, because they wanted to escalate the whole protest, so that was their agendas. And right now, one of the most problematic thing is that even among Gen Zs, these political parties are slowly placing these things that are trying to unite us. So that is the problem I see in right now. But if we stand united, I think we'll be stronger. And if we are divided, that will make us weaker.
Ridhima, running out of time. Last word to you. Go ahead.
I have something to say. So I would like to start with clarifying that the protest wasn't really organized by a specific organization, right? It was a spontaneous movement that we all decided unanimously in terms of like day and location and time. So my earliest memory of like getting to know about this protest was I was making videos raising awareness about the social media ban and then all of the casualties behind it, right? And I actually got to know about the protest through comments of my own videos or of similar kind of videos where people were just writing that the protest is in this location and all of the details. And then after, when bigger creators started confirming that yes, we will be going to the protest, was the only point when I realized that, okay, this is an actual thing. Okay. So it wasn't really like an organized
Well, look,
thing.
I mean, things in Nepal have moved incredibly fast, but let's just hope that people remain calm, because the underlying tension does continue out on the streets and the possibility of violence has not quite disappeared. We leave it over there and hope, all of us, for peace in your beautiful country. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, coming up exclusively on Left, Right and Centre, an interview with John Bolton, the former National Security Advisor of the United States, someone who says that the US's handling of India has been deeply problematic. However, the relationship appears to have been now taking on a more even keel, with Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi exchanging social media messages and seeming to suggest that the relationship is important. Be that as it may, and before we speak to Mr. Bolton, let's just go through some of the insults which India received. Is this a friend that we can truly trust? Many of these remarks have been coming from Pete Navarro, a White House advisor. For example, Navarro has said India's keyboard minions are hijacking X's community notes to buy the facts. He said this on the 10th of September. So at a time when India and America started talking peace, Navarro was still tweeting away. Earlier, he had said that Brahmins were profiteering at the expense of Indians. This was his objection to India continuing to import Russian oil. If India, the world's largest democracy, was to be treated or wants to be treated like a strategic partner of the US, it needs to act like one, is what he said earlier. But there were other remarks as well. India's big oil lobby has turned the largest democracy in the world into a massive refining hut and oil money laundromat for the Kremlin. But there have been remarks from Donald Trump which have also been problematic. Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together, is what Trump said on the 5th of September. It's been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the US. I don't care what India does with Russia. They can take their dead economies down together for all I care. He said that on the 31st of July. The relationship appeared to be plummeting, but off late, it seems to be somewhat better. Is that going to last? Well, from a period of several weeks where the United States had all sorts of concerns about India, the state of trade with India, India's continued import of Russian oil, to one where it appears that Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have started the process of fixing the strain on the relationship. It's been quite a ride. Joining us now for his perspective on this, Mr. John Bolton, former National Security Advisor of the United States. Thanks very much for being with us. When I was talking to you a few weeks back, the relationship seemed to be headed in only one direction, down. But it appears that both Trump and Modi have fixed things to a certain extent. Do you believe that it's going to last?
Well, Donald Trump sees international relations through the prism of his personal relationship with foreign leaders. So from Trump's perspective, if he and Prime Minister Modi have a good personal relationship, everything is fine between India and the United States. Obviously, it's much more complicated than that. But at least from the Trump perspective, it's better than tweets and statements that are negative about Prime Minister Modi. I think we've got some serious issues to talk about here. I think it's now even more important to try to see if India and the U.S. can align themselves here after the attack on Poland by Russian drones just the other day. The Russians, of course, say this was purely accidental, but the NATO authorities say 19 drones crossed into Polish airspace. That's quite some accident, I must say. And so this question of what Russia is up to, not just in Ukraine now, but threatening Poland, a NATO member. So the question of what resources Russia has to fight these various struggles becomes even more important. And I think this is a circumstance, especially given the growing China-Russia axis, where we need to avoid acting hastily. We need to have especially conversations between New Delhi and Washington, because I think we should be aligned on this, and I think we can get to that point.
The fact that we had Prime Minister Modi in China, in Tianjin, where he met Vladimir Putin, President Xi, there's a reset in the relationship with China, that's absolutely clear. The basis at one level of the relationship, the strategic relationship between India and America, was premised on the threat posed by China to India and to the Asia-Pacific region. But if there is a reset in ties between India and China, does that somehow dilute the premise of the strategic partnership between Washington and Delhi?
Well, I think it depends on whether you believe somehow China has changed its hegemonic aspirations all along its Indo-Pacific periphery, and I don't think they have. I think that celebration in Beijing was a very well done and successful propaganda effort, first to rewrite the history of World War II, to tell us all that actually it was the Chinese Communist Party that defeated Japan. The Chinese nationalists didn't have much of a role. The United States didn't have much of a role, but it was intended to legitimize the leadership of China today and to project their power forward. And I think everybody in America understood the potential significance of Modi being there with Xi Jinping. And I understand his motives for going, but I think when you think strategically, you have to look hard at reality, and the reality coming out of Beijing remains, I think, very threatening. I think the various things that Trump had done to raise tensions with India, not just the tariffs because of Russian oil and gas purchases, but cutting off the negotiations on the underlying tariffs and just arbitrarily imposing 25%. And then his various comments about having prevented war between India and Pakistan after the last terrorist attack in Kashmir. I mean, these are all factors that I can understand would affect thinking in New Delhi. But the bigger picture is the hard strategic reality, not just the strange things Donald Trump does. So these realities remain, and I think if we consider them in a low-key, non-public fashion and work them out, that the course ahead will become a lot easier for both Washington and New Delhi.
Sir, are you surprised at the pace at which things seem to have been fixed? There's been this social media peace overture by Donald Trump. Prime Minister Modi responded to it. That actually happened 2 times around. Positive messages from both sides. I'm not. It is bizarre at one level that these things get sorted out on social media, but they do evidently. Mike, I'll go back to my first question. Is this likely to be lasting, or just on the basis of the relationship between the two men, or do you believe that there is some sort of an agreement or deal which has been informally struck?
Well, my understanding is that discussions on the basic trade issues, the trade and tariff issues, have resumed, and that is a positive development, and they will work themselves out in the strange way that trade negotiations work out. And I do certainly acknowledge that these days social media do provide a means of communication, and I think the exchange of messages has been positive. I think all that's right. But now you get to the hard question and the most important question of the concrete significance of now that they've started talking again. So I think it's encouraging, but just objectively too soon to tell whether we'll make progress. I certainly hope we do, because the stakes for both countries are very high.
There is no indicator that India will stop importing Russian oil. Is that a showstopper for Washington still?
Well, I think what could be happening now, the Europeans are talking about this, the irony here is that under the sanctions that Europe and the United States wrote, it had 2 objectives: reduce Russian revenue to fund its war in Ukraine, but also by putting a price cap below which it was permissible for non-European, non-American purchasers to buy oil. It was intended not to exclude Russian oil from the market so as not to drive price at the gasoline pump in the US and Europe too high. Those objectives were mutually contradictory. I think now that you'll see a movement toward a more blanket sanction against Russia that's being discussed now. We faced a similar question in 2018 when the Trump administration withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal, reimposed all of our prior sanctions, but found some countries like India, like Japan, like a few others, who had been purchasing Iranian oil when the sanctions had been lifted, that were caught in a difficult position. And we worked with those countries, with the Middle Eastern oil producers, and it may not have been a perfect solution, but it was a way to transition away from Iranian oil in substantial measure. I think something similar should be considered in a transition away from Russian hydrocarbons. The specifics may well be difficult, I acknowledge that, but I hope in a spirit of cooperation to try and keep things together, we can look at some kind of alternative like that.
Peter Navarro, of course, has a mind of his own, and despite what Trump and Modi may have agreed on, he seems intent on harming the relationship. Now, to Washington and New Delhi's benefit, nobody on either side seems to be taking this very seriously beyond a point. It's interesting reading, but it's bizarre. Would you agree?
Yeah, look, I've been in meetings between Trump and Modi with Peter Navarro there, who was just trying to start an argument. I've said, if you left Peter alone in a room and came back an hour later, he'd be in an argument with himself. So I hope the real negotiators here can sit down. I'm not saying these issues are going to be easy or quickly resolved, but I think there'll be good faith on both sides, and that's the way to try and work through it. And you can stay away from the threats and shouts in social media and just do the hard work and see if we can't reach an accommodation here.
Ambassador Bolton, what you said is quite interesting. Did you say that you were in a room with Peter Navarro and Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump, where it appeared to you that all that Navarro was trying to do was start a fight? Could you tell us more about that incident?
Well, this was a meeting where I had hoped that the two leaders would talk about strategic issues, as dealing with China, dealing with enormous threats that we face through the rest of the century, and Peter just wanted to talk about what he thought were unfair Indian trade practices. Look, I have watched trade people do this. There are always grievances in trade issues. It's in the nature of the subject matter, but between India and the United States for the rest of the century, there are very, very important, indeed existential questions here. I'm not diminishing the importance of trade. It makes a huge difference in both economies, But let's keep it in perspective. That I guess is how I would put it.
A final question. The death of Charlie Kirk, very unfortunate that anybody should be shot in this manner. Your thoughts? It is ironic that, he was talking about gun control laws, from his own standpoint, of course, when he was shot. Sitting as I am in the other part of the world, it just seems strange for a lot of us over here to think that America is a country where people can buy, procure guns and float around with guns in this manner, and then you've got political leaders, being killed.
Well, I think, look, this is a tragedy under any analysis of what happened here, and he was out doing what really had made him such an influential figure. This was a tour based on the slogan "Come and prove me wrong." In other words, you have a disagreement. Let's talk about it. Let's make our arguments and see who prevails. And to see this kind of violence is just terrible, and it threatens the fabric of American political society. There's no question about it.
All right, Mr. Bolton, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much, and hopefully the India-US relationship does get back on an even keel and stays that way. Thanks very much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We see the problems, but you as a social entrepreneur see the solutions. You are not just creating solution, you are creating a future where everyone has a chance to thrive. For the change makers, the innovators, the ones building a better world, one solution at a time. The Adani Green Talk Social Impact Awards are created for you. Green Talk Social Impact Awards 2025, coming soon.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves. And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edappadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है
मैडम एक बात को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं भारत की बात बताता हूं एनडीटीवी इंडिया पर
Pulling us into this country. They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind. I pause. I reflect. I dig. Until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Presenting the all-knowing, all-powerful Tech Guru.
Whoa. Guru? I'm no guru.
Okay.
I'm just a guy who loves his tech.
A show where the mysteries of megabytes and motherboards shall be uncovered.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Aditi Bhardwaj and let's take a look at the top stories that we are tracking here at this hour. The Hyderabad horror in which a 50-year-old was killed at her home. She was hit by pressure cooker. The throat was slit. 2 domestic helpers are main suspect who remain at large. Nepal PM front-runner greets Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Sushila Karki says PM Modi is a good person. However, the unrest continues in Nepal. Curfew remains imposed in several parts. Trump ally Charles Kirk killed in US. FBI releases pics of suspected shooter. And in the United States, a new statement has come in where Trump has invited India for trade talks next week. This is a big statement coming in from US Ambassador designate to India, Sergio Gore at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He says President Trump has invited their Indian Trade and Commerce Minister next week to the United States. More breaking news coming in as the countdown to Bihar battle grows. This is the political battle that is getting uglier day by day. Now the Congress party in Bihar has launched an AI attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his mother. In the new video that has been released by Bihar Congress, the party can be seen mocking the Prime Minister. This is the fresh attack after, remember, a person from the RJD Congress rally stage abused PM Modi. After that, the tirade continues from the Congress side. BJP, however, has hit back at the Congress, saying this habit of the Congress party will be costly, as people of Bihar will teach them a lesson in the upcoming elections. Take a look first at the video that has been released by the Bihar Congress and the BJP reacting to it.
वोट चोरी डन हो गए, अब जाता हूं सोने।
अरे बेटा, पहले तो तुमने मुझे नोटबंदी की लंबी लाइनों में खड़ा किया, तूने मेरे पैर धोने का रील बनवाया और अब बिहार में मेरे नाम पर राजनीति कर रहे हो। तुम मेरे अपमान के बैनर पोस्टर छपवा रहे हो। तुम फिर से बिहार में नौटंकी करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो। राजनीति के नाम पर कितना गिरोगे?
हाँ? कांग्रेस पार्टी की एक ही पहचान करो, मोदी जी की माताजी का अपमान, मातृशक्ति, नारी शक्ति, महिला शक्ति का अपमान, और वो भी बिहार जैसे प्रदेश में। कांग्रेस पार्टी ने सबसे पहले मोदी जी की माताजी को गाली दी, उस पर खेद या खंडन करने के बदले उसको जस्टिफाई किया, डिफेंड किया। जब पता चला कि कांग्रेस पार्टी झूठ फैला रही थी और एक्सपोज हो गया कि वो कांग्रेस का ही कार्यकर्ता था, तो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने या राहुल गांधी ने उस पर माफी मांगने के बदले एक और गाली दी, इस बार बिहार के लोगों को, और बीडी से तुलना की। ट्वीट तो डिलीट कर दिया पर मानसिकता डिलीट नहीं हुई।
And my colleague Raman Rai is joining me from Patna, Bihar. Raman, thank you so much for speaking to us. Give us a sense of what's the political mood on the ground in Bihar ahead of the poll battle that will take place. Congress continues its tirade against Modi. Will it affect the party in the polls?
Yeah, absolutely. This video is posted by the Bihar Congress on their X handle, and later on the BJP is taking jibe on the Congress party, where Congress party posted a video of Prime Minister Modi and her mother, that her mother came in their dreams, and she spoke with the Prime Minister, that she is saying that you are doing politics in Bihar on my name. So Congress is basically taking jibe on Prime Minister by using this AI generated video, and after that BJP is taking charge on Congress. Pradeep Bhandari, the BJP spokesperson, also tweeted on his Twitter handle and attacks on Congress party, while he also writes that again Congress party had insulted Prime Minister Modi's mother after posting this video, and he's also appealing to the people of Bihar, that people of Bihar will never tolerate this, and they will cast their vote for the development, and they will cast their vote for the BJP and the NDA alliance in Bihar.
Right. Thank you so much, Raman. Thank you so much for all those details. We'll continue to track what's happening in Bihar as we do our coverage of Bihar political battle. And now to some other news. Strong political reactions coming in after a proposal to change the name of the Shivajinagar metro station in Bengaluru to St. Mary's, after the famous St. Mary's Church, which is an iconic landmark in the busy Shivajinagar area of the city. The request for changing the names was made by Congress MLA Rizwan Arshad, and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah mentioned at a public function that he would forward the request to the authorities. The St. Mary Church is a historic landmark in Bengaluru, but the BJP has accused the Congress of appeasement politics. There have also been sharp reactions from Maharashtra. This is a political battle that will only grow more louder. Sample the reactions coming in.
ಒಂದು
ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಇಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ರಿಜ್ವಾನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ರಿಜ್ವಾನ್ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂನ್ಸಿಯವರು ಎಲ್ಲಿಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿಫಾರಸು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು
शिवाजीनगर स्टेशनचं नाव बदलून सेंट मेरी स्टेशन करणं याचा मी निषेध करतो. एक प्रकारे छत्रपती शिवरायांचा अपमान करण्याचं काम हे कर्नाटकची काँग्रेस सरकार करते. याचं मला दुःख आहे, पण मला याचं नवल वाटत नाही. कारण छत्रपती शिवरायांना अपमानित करण्याची परंपरा ही काँग्रेसमध्ये जवाहरलाल नेहरू पंतप्रधान असतानापासून आहे.
In a gruesome incident, a 50-year-old woman was tied up, hit with a pressure cooker and stabbed to death, allegedly by two helpers at her flat in a high-rise apartment complex in Telangana's Hyderabad. 5 teams have been formed to nab the suspects who are still at large. The duo then took some gold ornaments and about ₹1 lakh cash from the residence and fled. But what was more shocking was the behavior of the two helpers. Take a look at what my colleague Shiv decoded in the ordeal.
It happened in one of the most upscale areas of Hyderabad. That is